Hello and welcome. My name is Chimela and I'm back again with another episode. Okay, I'm just crazy today, I don't know why. So we're going to be discussing a Netflix series which I watched. I've been hearing about it on Instagram and I was like, okay, this might make an interesting one, you know? And so I went to Netflix this weekend and I watched it. Okay, so seriously, now let's be serious. Okay, so the title of the series is, drum roll please, Sex Life. Sex Life. So that's the title of the series. This series, you can find it on Netflix if you want to watch it. Let me just give you a brief summary of the movie and why I want to talk about it. I want to talk about this movie as regards marriage. Disclaimer, I'm not a marriage counselor. I've not stayed 10 years in marriage. I can't say I'm one to advise people on marriage, but what I can say is I'm a human being. That's one. I've heard people's stories as regards relationships and marriages. That's two. And I have eyes. I have common sense. So let's discuss this. So this movie is about a married couple. The lady's name is Billie, then the husband's name is Brad. So they live in the suburbs, you know, the quieter side of the city, and the man works as a banker while the wife is a stay-at-home mom. They have two kids, a toddler and a baby who is still breastfeeding. So she's always living indoors in a quiet neighborhood. Nothing fun, adventurous or spicy is happening compared to her previous life before she got married. Now, before this lady got married, she lived this fabulous, adventurous, wild, you know, kind of single life with her friend Sasha, who she was very close to. She dated several people, but she had this one particular guy who she had a very great relationship with. The guy is tall, he's handsome, he has this fun career. He's a music producer. He has money. Yeah, he's rich. Not rich, but I don't know, it didn't make him as per rich in the context of that movie, but he's he's living okay for himself. He's not looking for money. Money is not his problem. Let me put it that way. Money is not his problem. She had this relationship with him. They had a very great sex life. They did it everywhere and every time and for every reason. So that was one thing she enjoyed very much in that relationship. And now as a married woman, just at home and, you know, with the kids and no career, nothing. And before then she was also doing her PhD as at that time, as when she was single. Now as a married woman, she has none of those. She doesn't have that great sex life again. She doesn't have that free spirit, you know, to club around, go around and stuff like that. And she even dropped out of her PhD. Now she's at home with the kids. She actually thought this is the life she wanted. When she met her husband, the man was charming and he gave her everything. He never broke her heart, gave her everything she needed, and she thought that was the life she wanted. After two kids, she's beginning to want back her old life. It happens to the best of us. So I can totally relate to this Billie lady. Can totally relate to her. So she wants back her old life where she's free. She can just stand up and leave and go, you know, do her thing and come back without any hindrance in terms of kids, you know, having to take care of kids constantly without being able to just, you know, wake up and say, oh, I want to go to this place today, and you just take your bath and pick your bag and leave. Kids won't let you do that, okay? If you don't know, now you know. Okay, so at a point she was so much engrossed in those thoughts of her ex-boyfriend. As a married woman now, she started writing a journal. She started journaling and writing all those feelings, all those things she felt like she missed. She started putting them down in her journal on her laptop. Now, one day her husband mistakenly found out the laptop and read those things she wrote about the ex-boyfriend. Now what did the husband do? He decided to become the person she was fantasizing about. He didn't take offense immediately, and he didn't even take offense, let me put it that way. All he wanted was to please her. All he wanted was to make her happy, because her husband is a good person. He's not someone that cheats on her. He's not someone that as much as looks as other women. He's just committed to her. He's a committed husband and father. So he just wanted to please her. So when he read that journal and was like, oh, these are the things she likes, so So this is her former life. He never knew about that part of her former life, you understand? So he was like, oh, this is what she did in her former life before we got together, and this is the kind of life she likes. So he decided to, you know, make her happy, start replicating all those fantasies that she had in her head, all those fantasies journals that she had with that guy. He decided to start making himself do those things to please the wife, because normally that's not the kind of guy he is. According to him, he said he never lived all those wild sex life as a young person. So the guy is basically a nice guy. That's what he is. So he started trying to force himself to do those things. The lady was like, oh, she misses and stuff like that. And it was kind of putting a hole in their relationship, because no matter what he does, it wasn't as good as what the other guy was doing. It wasn't as good as what she was missing. So the lady wanted to stay committed to her husband, because of course the husband is a good man. He provides all her needs. He loves her and she loves him. But that 15% of the sex life she was missing was like all of it for her. So they kept going back and forth in terms of the husband wanting to please her, and she, you know, kind of being drawn back to that her ex. And that her ex was pretty much in the picture, because when she was having this crisis, she went to see that her friend Sasha, and guess what happened? She bumped into that her ex-boyfriend. What? Why I'm telling this story now is that there are certain things I learned from watching this movie. Now the first thing is, you're going to always find someone who is hotter than your partner, sexier than your partner, more desirable to you than your partner. That's one. Number two, marriage takes intentional efforts. Now you see that feeling you had when you were with that person, that, oh my god, I can't stay without this person, oh my god, he's the love of my life, oh my god, blah 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 blah. That feeling is going to wear off. You know why it's going to wear off? By the time both of you start sharing responsibilities together, in terms of, oh, we've not paid house rent, oh, we've not done this with the kids. There are so many things that occupy your time. You know, when you're dating initially, there's not so much that occupies your time. Most times when you're going to meet your boyfriend or your girlfriend, or you're going to visit the person, you're not going there to discuss bills or to discuss childcare or to discuss whatever, you know. You're just going there to have a nice time. But now when you people are married, when you guys come together and become married, there's so many other things to discuss. There's bills, there's childcare, there's hospital bill, there's rent, there's school fee, there's feeding. There's so many things to discuss. There's so many responsibilities now that shares your time, that shares that your sex life or that your relationship life. There's so much that shares it. So if you're not intentional about being together sexually and relationship wise, you are going to go apart. You are going to grow apart. So you have to be intentional and know that that butterflies in your stomach feeling is not going to be there. What is going to sustain you is how intentional you want to be about loving this person. Okay, I've taken this person to be the love of my life. I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Now I want this to work. I want to love this person. How am I going to do this? How is this going to happen for us? That is what you're going to be thinking about when you get married, okay? And not rely on your butterflies in your tummy. Okay, now the third thing I learned in this episode is, the more you hide things from your partner, the more you guys grow apart. As long as that thing is going to affect your partner directly or indirectly, you shouldn't hide information from your partner. So the fourth thing that I learned is that what worked for this person's marriage will not necessarily work for your own marriage. So in that series, and the husband had a friend in the office, so that friend in his office and the wife, they normally go to this sex party, and it was working for them very well. So focus on what works for your marriage. Number 5, you don't have to be conventional. So your marriage doesn't have to be conventional. What do both of you want? What do you want? That's what's important. If you try to follow conventional, most times what scatters marriage is the fact that you want to follow conventional way. The conventional way that doesn't suit your situation at that time. The conventional way that doesn't make both of you happy. That is what you want to follow. You have this idea that a husband should do this, a wife should do this, this should happen at this time, this should happen at this time. Who says that? It's your marriage. It's your own institution. It's something you and your wife are creating. So you should create it the way it's going to suit you. Especially in this our own generation of marriage, because I don't know about those people, olden days people, or our parents. Let me not say older. I don't know about our parents' generation. I'm talking about what pertains to us now as millennials. Deal with what works for you. What is working for you, that is what you should focus on. Leave people alone. Leave people out of your marriage. Oh, people will say my wife should do this one. People will say my husband. What do you want your husband to do? What is going to make you happy? What is your wife going to do to you that will make you happy? What is going to make your wife happy? That is what you should be focusing on as a married couple, and not, oh, my wife is supposed to be this, society expects my husband to be this. Who are you deceiving? Do what works for your marriage. So the next thing I learned from watching this movie is the fact that you cannot please who does not want to be pleased. So this husband saw his wife's journal and her fantasies about her ex-boyfriend. He's trying to fit into a shoe he may not be able to walk with just because he wants to please the wife. And guess what? At the end of the day, the wife was not pleased. In as much as she tried to like say to herself, oh no, I'm done with that guy, it's my husband, it's you I love, I don't want anything to do with that guy again. In as much as she tried to say all those things with herself, the man couldn't please her enough. They said the heart knows what it wants. She still went back to her ex-boyfriend. So another thing I learned from watching this movie is that you can't lie to yourself. You know what you want. You can lie to every other person, but you can't lie to yourself. So the Billie of a lady, the wife in question, was always telling herself, okay, I'm done with my ex-boyfriend, I no longer want my ex-boyfriend, but she was always thinking about him. The ex-boyfriend even came to her to propose to her, and she told him, I don't like you, I like my husband, this is the place I want to be. At the end of the day, she still carried her two left legs and ran to meet the ex-boyfriend. So another thing I took away from this movie is that communication is key. So what started the whole brouhaha was the fact that her husband wasn't satisfying her sexually any longer, and she didn't tell her husband. At the point, her husband asked her, okay, so when this was happening, why didn't you speak to me? Why didn't you tell me? She felt like the man did not find her attractive any longer. It just happened like there was no conscious effort any longer. It was just like a routine. You wake up in the morning, you go to work, you come back, you go to bed, you know, stuff like that. He didn't touch her not because of anything in particular, you understand? So that was what he was telling the lady. That's where communication comes in. Talk to your partner. Are you feeling something? Talk to your partner. And if your partner talks to you, try to see things from your partner's perspective. The man would not feel anything because the man was fulfilled. He was going to work every day. He had a reasonable distraction. He would go to work every day. He would communicate with other adults and stuff like that. And see, let me tell you something, guys, if you don't know, the worst time to act up on your wife is when she's pregnant and when she just had a baby. That period of her life is very vulnerable. Number one, she feels like she's no longer attractive. She has a big tummy. She's wondering, oh, will I get my body back? And there's so many changes that happens to the body. And first of all, our body is like our center of attraction. That's what makes you feel attractive in the first place, your body. Now, when you have that taken away from you, it tells on your self-esteem. Then when you have your partner act up, it's like it messes with your head. You should even be closer to your wife. You should show her more love. I still like you, I still love you, and stuff like that. That's why you're there. You're a partner, for crying out loud. Partner for life. That's what you are. Something else I took away from this movie is that let your past be in your past. Don't be the person that says, I'm gonna be friends with my ex-boyfriend. Let me tell you what you don't know. When you and your ex-boyfriend are found in a compromising situation, things are likely to get down. Things are likely to get down. So don't put yourself in that position where you are in communication with your ex to the extent that something can happen. Don't tell me, I can't control myself. Really? Are you sure you can control yourself? Are you sure you can control yourself when things get down? You sure? You sure about that? You sure? Let your ex be your ex and stop giving your partner reasons to think that and telling me, hey, you're insecure. Hello, that's being manipulative. That person is doing what you think that person is doing. Believe you me, most of the time that person is going to betray you. That line is for you not to see. That line is to put you at fault. That line is to gaslight you. Stop doing things that will make me not to trust you and expect me to trust you. Well, I think that does it for this video. I think that's basically what I can remember for now. Anyway, like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I'm gonna see you in another video. Woo!